So good day everyone, this is Prince Clarice Lipogpog and our topic is all related to our subject, which is understanding the self, and our topic is all about the impact of online interactions on the self and the boundaries of on the self online. So before I will start, let me say that this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. So the learning objectives of this presentation is that learners may able to know the importance of having self-discipline towards um, using the social media, and learners may able to create personal boundaries in in themselves through the online, and learners may able to know the impact of online interactions of oneself. So the first one we're gonna talk about is the impact of online interactions on the self. So what is online interaction? So according to the internet, online interaction is a mutual reciprocal action or influence over internet. The dialogues and communication between and among physically separated participants is on environments. Um, and it involves the individuals, our group, our group engaging in communication process that is taking place over internet or technology network environment. Social interaction held by co-participants of digital environment. Internet cable communication and exchange of activities involving both um, consumers and firms. And this is the examples of online interaction. The first one is social networking site. The example of that is Facebook. Second is computer-mediated communication, which includes the email or Gmail. And the third one, which is the bad side of the social interaction, which is cyberbullying. The fourth one is electronic learning. Example of that is Google Classroom. Fifth one is computer-supported collaborative learning, which is supported by ICT. And the last one is research worker, because the research worker is included here because research workers may always use the internet to in order them to have a research to their for example of their problem, to their find of their solutions of their problem. So next, there are two types of online environment, which is asynchronous environment and synchronous environment. So the first one is asynchronous environment. So asynchronous environment does not require the simultaneous participation of students and instructors. It utilizes tools such as threaded discussion, uh, listservs, and voiced head, and neither time bound or nor place bound. Example of that is just LMS in the UC all UC campus, which is UC eating sites. And okay, that's for the asynchronous. So synchronous environment. Synchronous environment is what makes people for for real-time communication and collaboration in the same time, different place, mode, and these tools allow people to connect in a single point in time at the same time. Synchronous possess the advantage of being engaged to people instantly and at the same point in same time. I mean in time. And synchronous is what example of synchronous is Google Meeting, because in Google Meeting it allows the people to communicate in the same time but in this different places. So that is synchronous. So this the next one is the impacts of social interaction on the self. So the impacts of the social interaction of the self can be negative or positive. So the first one we're gonna talk about is the positive. So positive impact. It gives the vital visual images that enable employees and customers that interpret and collaborate properly over a long distance. As a result, decisions are taken faster, projects execute on time, and productivity increases. Video conferencing gives users two options for securing competitive and advantage. With digital interaction, you can reduce turnover, create an inclusive work environment, increase engagement, provide seamless experiences, promote transparency, and ultimate save both time and money. So that is the positive impact of social interaction on the self. So the next one is the negative impact. So the negative impact or the negative interactions may include discouraging the expression of feelings, making critical remarks, invading another's privacy, interfering in another affairs, or failing to provide promised help, among others. So, the next is cyberbullying. And cyberbullying and mental illness lead to many struggles, anxiety, cognitive problems, personality changes, and suicide that are detrimental to society. So that is the negative impact of social interaction of the self. So how to avoid cyberbullying, since it is the disadvantages of social interaction. Let's talk about how to avoid this one. So how to avoid cyberbullying. The first one we're gonna do how to avoid cyberbullying is make the most privacy settings. Investigate what measures you can take to keep content private on the website you use. So for example, when you are using Facebook, you must um, make your privacy contact into your just your friends, or maybe you can do it, post it in yourself, because it could maybe lead to cyberbullying. The next one is to think before you post. Never forget that internet is public, and keep personal information personal. So when it means personal information, you must keep it personal, because since its name is personal information, you must not um, you must not need to share it with another people. You must keep it to yourself only, which is your personal. So that's for all for my part, and the next part will be reported by my fellow member. Once again, this is Prince Clarence Lipogpog, and good day.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My name is Earl Jasper G. Salem, and my topic is online impacts of interactions on the self. So, a digital self. What is digital self? The persona you use when you're online. Some people maintain one or more online identities that are distinct from the real world. Selves, others have a single online self that's more or less the same as the one they inhabit in the real world. So, we can see that we have our own self in the online self, which is the same as the real world. What do you mean by that is your behavior on the real world is much more or less in the online self. So online identity is all the information we leave on the internet. It's our digital footprint with such details as our email address, date of birth, bank details, and even our purchasing habits in online stores. Online identity goes beyond what we do online. It also verifies that we are whom we say we are. So, online identity is also a social identity that can have more users or more self rather than one self. For example, in the research, you have 5 groups, so that means it can also called online identity. It cannot determined by the one user only. And then online identity is your details in your life from birth to right today. And then extended self, so it is created by external objects which one surrounds oneself. For example, your father is the star of the basketball in NBA, which you can see social media or in the TV, and then you idolized him, and then it can impact on the attachment to yourself. So that is the example of the extended self. And the cyberspace is a new communication medium that enable us to understand our social behavior in the real world. And virtual world, we understand ourselves by developing aspects of our identity. However, in the virtual world, we can explore our inner self without a rejection that may be experienced in the real world. So, it also happens that cyberspace, for example, Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, Google, all of that tool can be determined by the cyberspace. And then it can also find your hobby in the online. For example, the hobby to read comics, etc. And then you can also explore many things that you don't know from your real world. And then the positive impact of online interactions. So these are the positive. It provides effective communication using emailing and instant messaging services to any part of the world. For example, Messenger, you can always talk to any of the people that you want to speak to engage the communicating skill that your weaknesses. You can turn out that in the strength if you are weak in socializing in other people. And then it improves business interactions and transactions, saving vital time, because before we don't have online or internet. So that is one of the cases that some of the business are corrupted, or you know. And then for example, before, you can travel to the other located with the business because you can talk to it with another businessman, but now you can talk to it in the online. And then banking and shopping online have made life less complicated, because before we don't have online shopping. We can also tend to go to the shopping malls or exhausted, etc. And that's why today we have online shopping. You can also shopping in the online. So that is the positive impact of online interactions. And then we have the negative impact of online interactions too. So for example, loss of human physical interactions such as talking to your real world or your family. And then addiction, for example, gaming, less talking, and then access to inappropriate content for 18 plus sexual, etc. And large scale misuse of the technology such as cyberbullying, because it is also easy to target many people who you want to be bully. So please don't do cyberbullying. And increased risk for depression, anxiety, loneliness, and then self-harm and even suicidal thoughts. And then social media may promote negative experience, intimacy about your life or appearance, because nowadays people have like killed themselves because of others in the online, or for example, leak videos about yourself doing sexual, etc. And it can also damage your reputation. So that's why you are depressed, or maybe someone are threatening you, and then you are lonely. Loneliness is exceptions for the people who don't have communication in the real world. For example, your mother are always working in her business, and then you tend to get lonely sometimes. That's why you use online interactions to communicate in others. And that's my topic for today. Good luck.
Good evening everyone, my name is Danilo Bigo Malas Jr. And today I'm going to talk all about the impacts of online interaction on the self. Impacts of online interaction in itself is the ability to link others has had an enormous impact on one big field impact of technology. It appears that in preserving relationship, the use of online communication has become integral. Online correspondence allow users to engage in self-disclosure as well as self-disclosure. Also, we have positive and negative impacts of online interactions to the self. So let's tackle the positive first. Social media sites inform and empower individuals to change themselves and their communities. It also increases the self-esteem when receiving likes and shares. Found that because of the online, this inhibition affects individuals are able to open up more in the online groups. This argue fosters personal empowerment, control, self-confidence, and improve feelings. Interestingly, the online environment can increase interaction for quieter students who may not feel comfortable speaking up in the traditional classroom in the midst of other learners. Then we have the negative impact. Extensive online engagement is correlated with personality and brain disorder, slow steam, and more occupied in giving attention to social media than in keeping their customs and practices. Social media is causing teenagers to be negatively influenced. This is an issue because teenagers are extremely impressionable and social media is negatively impacting their lives each day. These negative effects are increasing and becoming more problematic every day. The disadvantage of social media is far outweigh the advantages. That's all.
So, good day everyone. My name is Rowa Gokong for Group 1 and our topic for today is all about impact of online interaction of oneself. So, we have our learning objectives. So, first is learners may know the importance of social interaction of oneself. Second is learners also may be able to know the impact of social interaction of oneself. So what is social interaction? So we formally define online social interaction as internet-enabled communication and exchange activities involving both consumers and firms. Here consumers refer to people who purchase products and services for their own use, while firms refer to profit or not-for-profit organizations in the marketplace. Next is we have our positive and negative of online interaction. So first is the positive way is cost effective compared to physical meeting. So web conference service are cost effective in every possible angle as the service will be in need of a computer or mobile along with internet connectivity. To a physical conference you have to spare time, money to travel, cost to stay, and so on. A digital connectivity has given huge benefits regarding using web conference option on a regular basis. Second is easy connectivity from every place in the world. So the online conferencing is not a baby anymore, where the connection was never stable. The web conferencing technology has improved to a great extent and provide flawless connectivity from any part of the world. You can use the online conferencing services for both official and personal purposes, as there are multiple numbers of applications that you can use to initiate a virtual meeting. And the last is increase the productivity and efficiency. The efficiency of a business house depends more or less of the ease of the communication and smooth flow of information between employee working at different level. Though in different interaction mostly takes place via email, phone, or instant messaging system, but visually interactive video conferencing is providing a better alternative. It gives vital visual images that enable employees and customers to interpret and collaborate to properly over a long distance. As a result, decisions are taken faster, projects execute on time and productivity increases. Next is our negative. So first is ineffective. So what does it mean? So it means that there are some human way of communicating that do not translate very well over a distance, such as an eye contact. When you sit in the same room with someone and listen to a speech or presentation, you will make eye contact and they will judge who is paying attention by looking around the room. Much of this contact is not easily delivered through a webcam. And the last one is time consuming and costly. So one of the major disadvantages of web conference call is the detailed planning is essential for its success. So the people engaged in the conference call need to have a high discipline and a high level of concentration. For an effective conference call, the webcam, microphone and other gadgets need to be in proper position and in good working condition. Failure in any one of the key gadgets can lead to the total failure of the conference call.
Hello everyone, I am Limutan Ralph James and I will be discussing about boundaries of self online. Objectives: to learn about self online, to know what are the boundaries online, to know the limitations online. So what is online self? Online self is the digital self is the persona you use when you're online. Some people maintain one or more online identifies that are distinct from the real world. S- Others have a single online self that's more or less the same as the one they inhabit in the real world. Boundaries of self online. As, as technology continues to rapidly advance, individuals and society are profoundly changed. So too are the tools used to measure this universe, and therefore our understanding in the reality improves. Boundaries of self online and reality online examines the idea that the technological advances associated with the internet are moving us in multiple domains towards various edges. These edges range from self to society to relationship and even to the very nature of reality. Boundaries are dissolving and we are redefining the elements of identity. The book begins with exploration of the digital constructed self and the relationship between the individual and technological reality. Then the focus shifts to society at large includes a contribution from Chinese researchers about the isolated Chinese internet. The, the later chapters of the book explore digital reality at large, including discussion on virtual reality, web consciousness, and digital physics. What boundaries will you set for your online self? 8 ways to create healthy boundaries online. First is to take ownership of your feed. Second, give yourself permission to unplug. Third, check in with yourself. Fourth, disable push notification. Fifth, set up limits downtime. Sixth, remember not everything needs to be shared. 7. Stop comparing. 8. Connect with the IRL.
Hello, so this is my report. The boundary of the self online. The boundary self online in additions of people spend a lot of time conversing online and not interacting with their neighbor. It can be bad for neighborhood communities and lead to feelings of alienations for those who don't have a real person to turn to in difficult times. The book Boundary of Self and Reality Online explore the nations that the internet technical advancement are pushing us into different ages in a variety of contexts, including those related to our own self society, our relationships, and even the fundamental natures of reality. Example of boundary of the self online.
Provides effective communication using emailing and instant messaging service to any part of the world. It improves business interactions and transactions, savings on vital time. Banking and shopping online have made life less complicated.